Hi guys, welcome to Bit, Nibble, Byte, where you don't have to learn all of coding at once, you can just take a bit, nibble, or byte. Today I'm going to go over class relationships, focusing on inheritance. I'm going to go over the definition of inheritance, why it's used in programming, and how you can implement it yourself. So if that sounds interesting, stay tuned. I'm going to start with common class relationships. If you don't feel comfortable with classes and objects, I'm putting a link to my classes and objects video in the top right corner now. Otherwise, we'll move on. One example of a common class relationship is association. It can be directed or undirected and can be referred to as a uses a relationship. For example, a person can use a book. If it's directed, that means the dependency goes one way, where if it's undirected, each class can use the other's methods. Another relationship is aggregation. This is known as a has-of relationship. For example, a bank has an employee. If you were to delete the bank, the employee would still exist. A more specific form of aggregation is composition. This is a part of relationship, where a house is composed of rooms. The rooms won't exist on its own if the house is deleted. And finally, the topic of today's video, inheritance. An inheritance relationship shows an is-a relationship. A dog is an animal, so a dog class could inherit from an animal class. There's a few terms to become familiar with before we start inheritance. I'm going to go over this by showing you three different kinds of inheritance, starting with single inheritance. Say we have a class A and a class B. If class B were to inherit from class A would be known as the superclass and class B would be the subclass. A superclass is the class whose features are inherited from, while the subclass is the class that inherits from the superclass. These could also be known as the parent class and the child class. Next is multiple inheritance. Say you have class A and class B again, and B inherits from class A. Say we have an additional class C that then inherits from class B. Java doesn't directly support this, although it's possible through interfaces. We're not going to worry about this for now. But it's good to know that this type of inheritance exists. And finally, the type of inheritance that we are going to implement today is called hierarchical inheritance. We'll start again with class B inheriting from class A. Class C now also inherits from class A, the main superclass. Getting into coding, I have four classes in front of you. The first one is the demo class. You can see here in the main method, I just create an animal object. I'm creating that object from the animal class. Animal has two attributes, a string for name and an integer for age. It has a public constructor and several protected methods. If you recall, protected is an access modifier in Java. It allows any classes that inherit from animal to access these methods. For now, I have two classes, dog and cat, that are both empty at the moment, but I plan to inherit from animal. Inheritance allows for code reuse, so just considering this example, dogs and cats both are animals. They can reuse some of these variables and methods, allowing us to reuse some of the code that we've already written. The first keyword I'm going to show you now is extends. This means that dog will inherit from the animal class. The next keyword is going to be super. To add a constructor for the dog class, I'll write public dog. I'll add the parameters for name and age, and I will call super NA. The method super that you see here refers to the animal's constructor. We pass through both a string for name and an integer for age. Now that dog extends animal, I'll create a dog object. Both of these objects can call the same speak method found in animal. So after compiling with no errors, if I were to run the demo class, you can see that yell gets called twice, first by the animal object and second by the dog object. Moving on to the cat class. I've done the exact same thing that I've done to dog. Nothing's changed. I've extended animal, and I've created a cat constructor. So now in the demo class, I'll create a cat object. The speak method should now be called 3 times. And we can see yell printed to the screen 3 times. First by the animal object, second by the dog, and third by the cat. Each class was calling the method that was defined and created in the animal class. Both the dog and cat classes were able to inherit from the superclass animal. They could each use the speak method as it was defined as protected, so inherited classes could call it. The part 2 of this video will be coming out soon. It'll go over method overriding, method signatures, and polymorphism. Until then, if you have any questions, feel free to comment them below. And if this video was useful to you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for future content. Until next time, guys.